Zapier is one of the best ways to save time and money by automating your workflows and processes. For this episode of Gravity Integrations, I had the opportunity to speak with Jimmy Rose, the owner of Content Snare and an expert on all things automation. He gave some great insights on how you can use Zapier with Gravity Forms to create automations that help you run your business more efficiently. Let's get into it. What is Zapier?
So Zapier is just one of a few tools that is a platform for, I call it like maybe workflow automation. Honestly, it's a way to integrate apps with other apps. That's what Zapier is. So yeah, it's like a graphical interface for, being able to have a box that says, when this happens in one tool, and then you drop in an action from another tool and say, add this person to my CRM.
Where would you recommend starting? What would be like the first things you'd recommend automating?
And the place I would recommend starting is going to the Zapier homepage. I'm pretty sure it's the Explore menu item. And then, so there's a couple of tabs, which is popular ways to work with Zapier and apps that work with Zapier. So you might just want to look at the popular ways to use Zapier and look around, because it'll tell you some things in there like popular workflows that people create. So if I look at this now, there's a Zap template here that says send a new email when a new lead comes in on Facebook ads, or like collect form responses as rows on a Google Sheet. So there's like just random little examples there that might get your mind going about what's possible. If you go to the Explore All Apps tab, which is just at zapier.com/apps, you can actually start just typing in apps that you're already using, like the Google Sheets or Gravity Forms, and you can see what triggers and actions it supports, and you can kind of start joining the dots. So you go to Gravity Forms and it's like, there's a trigger there that's like new form submitted. Okay, cool. So when that happens, what do I want to do? Like go to Google Sheets and you can see some actions there that'll like create new worksheet or create new tab, create new sheet, create new row in a spreadsheet. So you can kind of see the actions that are possible with the apps you're already using. Like you might go to ActiveCampaign and see like create new contact. You can start joining those dots between those triggers and the actions. So I go, when that trigger happens, I want this action to happen. And then you can dive in and actually start trying to set those things up. And, I would recommend starting small. When this happens, do this. Really simple, just some kind of basic data transfer. Because once you see it working, generally cogs start turning, things start clicking into place and people go, this is easier than I thought, and it's going to save me so much time.
How do you use Zapier with Gravity Forms?
I think everyone's got like a contact form on their site, and especially if they're using Gravity Forms for that, then it's just a matter of like automatically moving that person to where they need to go in your other systems, or creating a lead in your CRM if you're using like Pipedrive, if you're using ActiveCampaign. Maybe you have like another form on your site that is a order form, another Gravity Form, and you could create that person as a client directly in your accounting software, so that it's easier to send them an invoice later. And I'll just be honest here, like the thing I find about knowing how to use tools like Zapier and Integromat is that it just built-in integrations almost become irrelevant because you have so much more flexibility. Generally, built-in integrations are built a specific way, whereas when you know how to use a tool like Zapier or Make, you get so much more flexibility and customization. You can make the automation work in exactly the way you want it to do. So just to circle back, I think most people will start with built-in automations, but I think learning something like Zapier just makes the possibilities so much greater. Thanks so much to Jimmy for all the valuable insights into using Zapier with Gravity Forms. If you'd like to see us discuss more ways that you can automate your workflows and processes, be sure to check out our breakdown episode on automation. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, be sure to let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.